Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
James.
James. We gotta find a pitch to start on because I love when you go, hello and welcome.
I'm looking for it.
But at least you're finding the
I'm one of
pitch.
those like
That's
slide
important.
rules.
Yep.
I also have an idea.
No. Yes. Maybe?
No,
What is it?
I prefer the no because I'm still gonna go forward with it. I
Okay,
played
what is it?
trombone
Okay.
in in like band.
Okay.
I think we need to get a trombone.
Okay, James, great. Perfect. If you can't tell, it's the 420 episode.
Easter episode.
Easter and 420. It's it really is a miracle that it fall on the same day. And we thought, of course, last episode, if you listened, we talked about, someone had called in about, I can't even remember what it's called now, but it's like some sickness that you can get from too much.
Why can't you remember?
James. The hyperemesis, which is what you get from smoking too much, apparently. And we were like, what if we did a whole episode? Because it is 420. I know technically when this comes out, it's not going to be 420 anymore. But right now, in this moment, it is 420. Oh my God, will we be? Oh, it's 3:00. Oh, damn. We decided it'd be fun to a whole episode dedicated to the ganja.
You could say it's 4:20 p.m. if you needed to. Like,
I know they
no
wouldn't
one's gonna
know. They wouldn't know. I know, but it wouldn't feel right to lie.
It's good to be honest.
It's good. Always honesty is key, and I would never lie to you guys.
Are you ready for your science questions?
No.
Oh. All right, fine.
Am I ready for my science questions?
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you I was going to fire science questions about the actual chemical structure of THC.
Oh, well, that's, yeah, I mean, no.
Too much?
Yeah, I mean,
do you want to talk about cats?
I mean, what? Like, what? No. That's too much. But we are going to talk about just some of the weirdest things you might not know about the ganj. Just like some like fun discussions, like favorite things to do, favorite munchies. Obviously, we also are going to have a science corner, but James is not going to get too in depth. He's going to talk about, I said, why do we get the munchies?
What am I not going to do?
Not going to get too in depth.
I was not told those rules at the beginning of this.
Well, you know what I mean. Keep it, layman's terms, James.
We're going to get in. There might be some organic chemistry involved.
What is a layman? Like a layman. Do you know what I mean? That's so random.
Actually, it's funny. In my head, it's not layman, L-A-Y-M-A-N.
Isn't it L-E-I-G-H?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a way to explain something. And I'm going to get it wrong. No, I don't have a fact on that. But now we need to look that up. But it's a way to explain something
right, but like
to someone in the most, not simplistic, but best way for them to understand
right.
it. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, but what is layman?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry. I don't know if this is going to be really annoying for people who, don't participate.
We're going to talk about like carbon rings and carboxyl groups.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not.
I just did. Organic chemistry is important.
James, keep it light and fun.
That is light and fun for me. You did not tell me whether it was light and fun for me or other people.
Well, listen, the tolerance break is over, you guys. We talked about last week. I did the 2 weeks, and I survived. I will survive, and I did.
That's not the right tune to that song. That's not the right background.
I don't care what you have to say about it. Okay?
It's not me saying it. It's a fact.
Shh.
It's different.
Okay. Listen, before we dive into things, we are going to keep this, we're going to keep on track. We're going to be on schedule.
No, we're not.
And things are going to be great. But before we dive in officially.
I think we dove in already.
We're in. We're diving.
We're waist deep.
We have some shows coming up. Don't forget, we're going to be in Dallas this weekend. Apparently, there's like an old time, it's called the Stockyards. And it's like an old historic, like you're stepping back into time. Like we're going to be back in 1923. Actually, I think it's like, I can't remember what year it's based off of. I think it's earlier than that. But the George will be making an appearance, and it always gets weird. Things get weird in Texas. There's something that comes over us.
I need to bring my jean shorts?
Yeah, it's George season.
You know how I love a jean short.
Jorts are
how
out.
long? There are text messages dating back to 2021 of me asking so that guys can wear jean shorts again.
Yeah, they're back, James. Go crazy. Go forth.
I can't wait.
Go forth and prosper.
Thank you, world.
So we're gonna be in Dallas. That's gonna be fun times. And then May, we're kind of taking a little bit of time because I am gonna be off to Sicily. I know, have I mentioned that? I'm so excited. James is even coming. I can rub it in his face too.
Oh, can I do the podcast by myself?
Oh my God, a solo James episode.
Solo.
That's actually
weirdlings
really scary
out
to
there.
think about.
If you would like to hear a solo James episode, please let Sam
terrifying.
know.
That's really scary to think about.
I cannot wait.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm doing one.
And then we have Florida. We're coming to our Florida peeps. I just booked, I haven't even posted them yet, but the Saturday night of, oh my God, of June. Hold on, I should have had these up.
The dogs are also barking, and so we're
I know,
distracted.
It's so nice. We have the windows open. June 21st, Saturday night, we're going to Boca Raton.
It's the longest day of the year.
Boca Raton? Boca Raton.
Boca Raton, I think.
Yep. That's on the other side of Naples, on like the other side of Florida.
Of the nipples?
Of the nipples. Because we have Naples Sunday, June
Boca
22nd.
Raton, we know someone down there.
Do we?
We met someone on one of the IDEX trips we took. He's a captain in Boca Raton. I remember meeting them.
We'll have to hit him up somehow. Put out a smoke signal.
I'll find him. A smoke signal.
Send him a carrier
Where is
pigeon.
your brain at right now? Oh boy.
And so we're going to do a little Florida weekend. So tickets will be up very soon, Boca Raton, in June. And we're also, again, I'm working on some West Coast stuff. You guys, I'm working on it. Just know I'm working on it. And Connecticut, that ticket link should be out soon too. July for Connecticut. All right, let's dive into it. We're already off the rails. This is not going to be your normal episode. But we have to talk about some of the crazy things. And I'm going to give a quiz to you, okay, and see if you know about some of these things. First of all, let's just talk about 420. Do you know like where 420 came from and like what that means?
It's the police call for weed possession.
Okay, so people like that like became a thing, but like it's really not. Like police, if you ask a police like what smoking weed, like that's not the signal.
If you ask a police what
if you ask police what the police is,
great job.
If you ask, like it's not.
Dude, say that again.
But this is the lore. This is like what, like if a real stoner will tell you. So in Bob Dylan. Oh, also
you're
Bob
not making
Dylan.
A great case right now.
Sorry, I'm trying to read, and reading is hard.
And the word lore actually means it's a myth.
Okay.
So your position isn't going well.
James. It's from Bob Dylan's Rainy Day Women 12 and number 12 and 35. Do you know that song?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
Well,
we know
he
that.
Says,
what movie just came out about Bob Dylan?
I don't know. Timothy Chalamet. All I know is Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, you knew Timothy. I'm just glad you knew who was in it. Okay. But yeah, everyone should watch that. It's good.
The product of 12 times 35 is 420. And that was like the signal, because so here's the lore. It might be a myth. That's the thing. It's kind of like some folklore that goes back, from, this is in 1971. So apparently there was a high school in California, the San Rafael High School. And there's this group of kids called the Waldos, and they would grow cannabis in the woods somewhere. And at 420 after school, that was like the time where everyone went and met up and like went to this patch.
I'll believe you on this. I don't know. I don't have the facts to back.
And it just like got passed down time after time. Like everyone would say like meet at 420 and to do, 420 things.
I'm going to sing that song in the background every time you say time after time. Right?
And it was, I'm not even going to acknowledge. And it was.
But I hope the weird link. It's a great song.
It was put in the Oxford Dictionary in 2017. So it's like a real, like actual phrase in the dictionary.
Do you know what my favorite phrase in the Oxford Dictionary is?
What?
Dope.
Okay.
Homer Simpson. It's an actual phrase in the Oxford Dictionary.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Your tisms are really shining this
What's
episode.
A tism? What the hell is that?
nothing, James.
Wait,
nothing.
is
It's
that
like
from
yap.
the
It's like this and yap.
the spectrum thing?
Yes.
You do realize I had 0 thing on the
Yeah,
spectrum.
but you answered wrong.
I just talking facts.
Okay, right. And what?
And handsome.
It's giving tism.
Wow. You're allowed to say that? I can't say tard?
James, you can't say that. I know that is kind of fucked up, though, that you can say it one way, but not
I know.
way.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
But I'm saying it because you actually...
There are there are multiple spectrums we can talk across.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Are you ready for more facts, James? Get excited. Get pumped up.
Can you hear Prue in the background?
James, why don't you hear about my facts? Can you really, I need you to lock in.
I actually like that one. That was good.
Isn't that interesting?
I hope it's actually true.
What? Well, I can see.
Who did you wait?
And then it just spread from there.
What's your source?
It was it's weedmaps.com, which is
wait, that's what we're
which is the weed. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds great.
They're the weed site. The weed site.
All right.
All right. Here's a question. Which famous writer, one of the most famous writers of all time, was known to have partaken and had a garden full where he grew cannabis? Any ideas? I'll give you a hint.
Hold on.
Okay.
I don't need a hint yet. I like writers.
Okay. Well, take your time, really.
No,
I'm sure this is riveting.
Give me one hint.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Shakespeare.
Yeah. Right? I'm so good at that. Shakespeare was one of the first writers to have been known, and he was he had a garden full of it, and they found pipes in his garden with cannabis in it.
Really?
Yeah.
On his death?
Yeah. Okay, here's another question that I thought was so interesting. What country is the highest producer of marijuana?
Has to be. Well, I mean, now it's United States.
Well, you know what? So this actually, now that I read it, it's marijuana resin, which I think gives a little bit maybe more of a hint.
Marijuana
and I'm maybe
resin?
That's different from normal. Resin is the stuff that comes off.
After, right?
Yeah.
So they're making gummies.
They're making crystals
things
on it,
they're
basically,
producing.
right? I don't
Canada.
know. I think Morocco.
Oh, it is Morocco.
Yeah. They produce 19% of the global total.
You know what? The background in the back of my head, I almost said South Africa, which isn't geographically close to Morocco, but the very southern tip of South Africa along the ocean is similar to Morocco.
Yeah. It is a huge for smoking hashish, making their own
hashish. Yeah.
And I was saying too, when we go to Italy a lot of the time in Europe, it's a lot of hashish.
That's what we get.
A lot of that, what they call hash, which I don't even know. That's another thing, how they make that. I'm not sure. I think they either it's heated up because they're heating it and melt into it.
You should have told me. I would have looked that up.
I know. Well, guess we'll never know. We'll have to look that up. Someone look that up. Let us know. Okay. Which president was one of the biggest hemp farmers of his time and was known? They're not sure if he smoked it, but he was huge into harvesting, and he wrote a lot about it in his diaries and his writings about the healing powers.
Wasn't
of it.
FDR, was it?
Nope. Older than that.
Wasn't Adams?
Nope. Older than that.
Lincoln?
No. George Washington.
It was. I almost said Washington, but I'm that's almost too early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Kind of interesting. And so now at this point, do you know how many states in the US where you can smoke it recreationally? So you don't need a medical card. And this is,
I'm going to say 19.
As of early 2025. You said 19? Answer's 24.
Oh, it was higher.
Yeah, 24 now. 24 states in the US
are now
at half. Yeah, and almost all of them are decriminalized now at this point. But of course, most of them, the other ones, you need a medical card. And here's my question for you. Do you know when, like, I mean, this is probably going to be a wild guess, but do you know when the earliest it was written in history that like cannabis was used in some way, shape, or form?
Probably. Let me think.
Like when it was first mentioned.
So you want to hear what's going on in my brain right now?
Yeah, what do you think?
Okay. So
what is going on in your brain?
Around the time that like earliest writings in man was going on, was about 7,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, there were drawings on caves before that, but if you said writings, I'm going to assume that it was written about, right?
Yeah.
Well, so it's not like paintings on caves?
So, well, that's like, but it might be. It might be because this is old.
I'm going to say 3,000 BC.
6,500 BC.
It was 7,000.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have been right if I went with my gut.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about the right time.
And obviously, like they, for the most part, like these wasn't for smoking and like recreationally, but it was.
They drew pictures of it.
They drew pictures again. A lot of the times using it for hemp, for building things. Actually, in Asia.
Okay.
A lot of this started in Asia. Around Asia in 500 BC was when they started more using it for herbal medicine.
You said 6,500
writing about it.
Correct. Okay, good.
But I'm saying using it as medicine, like actually like ingesting it, was 500 BC. And like in Korea, it was like one of the most essential crops. Like all of their fabric was hemp.
Yep.
Like, and a lot of like even like huts, like houses were built with hemp. Sails, but like literally you could make hemp for pretty much anything. It's really strong for the most part.
Time after time.
But they actually think the first recorded use of marijuana might have been for recreational purposes in China in 2300 BC.
Yeah.
There was an emperor named Shen Nung. He was like one of the fathers of Chinese medicine, and he would use marijuana to treat conditions like malaria, poor memory. They would also like boil cannabis with flowers and drink it as a tea. And they would, also like use it for when people had melancholy.
Makes sense. Come on, for a second. Tell me I was mildly scientifically on about the time frame of it.
No, yeah, no, of course.
I just had to use like, okay, this is when humans were really writing stuff down. And marijuana had been used way before that. Like before we knew how to write stuff.
Right. Yeah. Which is just kind of crazy. It is. It's one of like the oldest plants that we still use today. Like it's frequently. I mean, obviously, sometimes we're using it for different stuff.
It smelled weird. They put it in stuff, and then they were like, "This is interesting."
Like I was trying to look up, like, how did they learn, like, that it would get you?
It's always one of my favorite questions on how did we figure out to eat oysters.
Right, or like anything, like even mushrooms.
My theory with oysters will always be otters.
Oh, they watched otters doing it?
Native peoples in whatever best countries, like you love, and you taught me to love Daramuscata out of the river, right?
Oh, Daramuscata in Maine.
In Maine. I can only picture native people
watching
hundreds of thousands of years ago, watching otters crack these things open on their chest.
I would believe otters that makes sense.
Yeah. Otters keep a rock with them to open these things.
Yeah.
And I can picture them doing that. So I also picture them seeing where bees would go to pollinate or not pollinate, and they'd be like, "Oh, why does this smell different?" Right? Yeah. There's got to be a behavioral reason behind it.
Yeah.
Humans we didn't get here by being human. We got here by following nature. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense, James. I like it.
I'm not saying that otter thing isn't a fact. That's just a James
what you think
theory. Yeah.
I know, like when anything gets discovered, it's like, when was the first person to discover that? But they did, like, there's like, they're not, they can't really pinpoint when it did happen, but they would think that they would burn, a lot of, like, if it ever burned, like they would, from the smoke, be like, oh, snap, we can smoke this. I don't know.
I think more so they started with teas and boiling. That's how they found out what things were, and then they were like, "Oh, I feel different after this."
But like, what if like
it's almost like brewing?
Like they like a whole like field get lit on fire, and they're around it, and they're like, "Oh shit," they secondhand.
Is that what you're picturing?
Yeah.
We got to get you your dandelion headband back.
Oh my God, my dandelion headbands. What do you guys even know about dandelion headbands? So those are just like some of my fun facts that I had. And I thought that those were
humans discovered weed by burning a field and smelling it and smoking.
Yeah.
You're adorable.
You're adorable. So here was some other fun questions too, because a lot of, others is like, and I know you're going to talk about scientifically what happens that like makes us, I'm sure it kind of links to the giddiness factor and why you laugh, and maybe, is it?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. But one of the best things about smoking is eating. Because if you know, and it heightens your senses. Like I would say, like I feel like a lot of your senses get heightened, similar to kind of, I feel like a lot of almost psychedelic type things. Same with mushrooms, that happens. But I feel like that was one of the first things when I, first had smoked for the first time. I think it was like my senior year of high school. We got Wendy's, and I was like, this is the best Frosty I've ever had in my entire life. Like really being like, this really makes everything taste so good and so much better. Like I will never forget being like, I've never tasted anything so good. I had a chocolate Frosty, and I was like, this is the best chocolate Frosty. I was like, put this in the Louvre. Like, put this on my gravestone that Samantha had the best tasting Frosty
I'll
of her entire life.
I'll make sure that's on your gravestone.
Back in whatever, 20. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. So they polled people on what their favorite munchies are.
Am I going to guess them?
Yeah. So what do you think in the top? So there's 5 here. 5 things.
Pizza.
The top 5 things. Ding. Right?
Okay.
What other?
French fries.
Nope.
Pizza. Burgers.
Nope.
All right. I'm just following what Google searches are for food. I knew pizza would be on there.
Yeah. Pizza.
Like, I don't know how to describe the next one. Chips. Is there a specific?
So I will give you this. So they put like chips / nachos.
Okay.
Which is so funny, but like that is totally.
Absolutely.
Like,
that would have been the thing I should have said over burger fries, but. Okay.
Yep. Nachos. So you got 2 right so far.
If I said burgers, if sandwiches are on there, I should get a point.
No, sandwiches are not.
Sandwiches are not on there? No. Well, that's just stupid. Sandwiches are amazing. Okay. Nope. So we've got pizza. We've got
this
chips.
one's kind of like a specific type. Okay. Yeah, no, really.
Specific type.
Yeah, like this is like very niche and kind of specific, but I think you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. I'm just going to tell you, Chinese food.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's kind of that
stuff you can order.
Stuff you can order. Quick. Yeah. And then you have 2 others, and this is kind of like a separate category. And I don't think you're going to think of this because this is technically your mind. Cookies.
I was going to say sweets,
and then brownies.
That was 2. See, I was 2. I was going to say sweets.
That's just like what people, like. What are they? What's the Family Feud style? Like what people just say.
Survey says.
Survey says. It's a survey says style question.
Should we do Family Feud stuff on here? Weirdlings. Should we have Family Feud style survey questions?
Should we have family? I don't even know how we would do that.
We would ask the survey.
Like the weirdlings.
The weirdlings are the survey, and instead of saying survey says, we say weirdlings say.
Right. Oh, that would be fun.
It's not a bad idea.
But we'd have to have a lot of people participate. We really need your help.
I don't care if it's 6 people. That's fine.
Okay. Weirdlings, let us know. We're full of ideas today. All right. So those are most of my questions. What did you think? Most of my questions. Most of my fun facts. What did you think of my fun facts?
Those were fun.
My mouth is so dry.
Great job. Are you okay? Wait. I wish we had music in the background for that.
Sorry, guys. Went down the wrong pipe.
That was just a Gatorade.
I know. I went down the wrong pipe. I meant like when I went to swallow it. Anywho's, James. Science corner.
Oh, we're moving already. I'm ready.
I say we I think it's time to bring up the science corner. Also, by the way, you know what's even funnier about this day? So, of course, we're like, it would be funny to do it on 420. Obviously, you know, a little of the partaking. And then we forgot to, we're cooking ourselves like a full Easter dinner after this. We're like, oh, that should be, I feel like I should vlog it of us trying to cook Easter dinner. We got a ham, potatoes, asparagus, and carrots for an Easter dinner. So this will be fun to watch us try and do it. Okay.
Well, the potatoes au gratin are going to take the longest, but I'm going to crush those.
You're going to crush it. I know you will, James. I'm not even worried.
Are you ready?
I wasn't even worried. I'm ready. Okay, so tell us.
It's the science corner. Hope you stay and play.
Woo.
It's the science corner. It can change your day.
Hey.
Science is fun questions made by you and me.
What?
Let's start the science corner with curiosity.
I'm curious.
All right. And you prompted this science corner. So
yes,
tell me why this was important to you.
Well, why is this important? This is so important to me. Well, first of all, it is just interesting that is something that contributes, like when people think of like getting stoned, people are like,
wait, tell the weirdlings, what was the question that you prompted?
Look up munchies. Why do we get munchies?
There we go.
Yes. Why do we get munchies? Because that is like one of the biggest things. I think too is like a downfall why people don't is because, you know, the munchies can just take over. It really can. And I think it's fascinating why that is like so specifically and why food, it really does just taste so much better. Like I can't even, like if you know, like you know, it just does.
So let's talk about it for a second.
Let's talk about it.
Should we start with what is the chemical structure of THC? Do you know the actual name?
No.
Can you? Why is it? So you asked a great why question before. Why is it THC?
I think it's because it's like dihyphoxanate cannabinoids philosophical.
Holy hell. Tetrahydrocannabinol.
That was kind of close.
No, it was not. No, it was not anywhere near.
I said tetrahydrocannabinol.
And we were going to talk about like
I basically
toluene
said that.
rings and important
Okay, that's
organic chemistry
said,
stuff,
but
maybe we'll skip over that. You, however, did touch on many important parts of that, right? Especially when you talked about like enhanced, like
it's a lot of enhancing of the senses.
That is a big part of it. I'm going to tie this into some of the new research that's been coming around about caffeine. Okay. So there's stuff out there. I love my coffee in the morning, and I don't care about this research.
We talked about this on the last episode.
We did. Yep. Adenosine is in our brain has receptors. And if there are things that stop those receptors, were you just smoking in the background?
I just took a little
Good
hit.
For you. I left my whiskey downstairs. And if there are receptors that can be blocked before something else comes in, there's so many applications of this in mental health drugs, like good things, right?
Yeah.
In caffeine, adenosine can be blocked. It can get there before the caffeine. It changes how it works, right? It's all a constant series of how those neurons are firing.
Okay.
So THC is definitely something that binds to what's called a cannabinoid receptor.
Yeah.
Hence where the name comes from.
Right.
When science, humans have been doing this before they ever had the technology to figure out what it was, right? Yeah. This receptor is part of the ancient part of the brain, like the really, really old part. Hence why it connects to food and cravings and that sort of things. It connects to cannabinoid receptor type 1, which can contribute to overeating because not only is the enjoyment there, but the idea of being full is also given to the body. So lectin, which is another hormone that's given out by the hypothalamus in the brain.
Yeah.
So the hypothalamus controls and regulates a lot of things that go on in our body.
Yeah.
It sees what's in the blood. When this hormone lectin goes out, it also stimulates us to eat more.
Huh. Okay.
So
But
that's
why do
where
things like taste better? Like, does it make your taste? You know what's funny? Someone I remember had told me too. Like, it also makes your metabolism go up, and that's why you get hungry.
disagree.
I know. Well, now I know that that's a lie.
Yeah.
But I remember that was like someone had said, like, yeah, and it's because your metabolism goes up. It's like,
It
no.
does. I mean, it's a combo of a few things, right? It just like people that drink, you can go out drinking and then you get the munchies, right?
Right.
It reduces inhibitions and you want to replenish those things.
Yeah.
Very much increases pleasurable, like high reward
Right.
for eating something, right? But also on a good side, if people are having something, whether let's just talk about the worst case scenarios, cancer or
Right.
some other things that when you're not hungry, cannabis helps.
Well, yeah, of course. No, that was like one of the first biggest uses, as I remember hearing about that for the first time, that like when people weren't hungry or feeling sick, it's a great help for that. That's why like we, especially in college, like if we were hungover, like that was like the best thing that you could do was like have a little smoky because it
Oh, a
helps
wake and bake.
hangover. Yeah. That was like the best. Once you figured out you could do that, it was like, what's stopping you? What is stopping you? So, like, what portion of your brain, your hypothalamus?
Well, two parts. The hypothalamus is an ancient part of the brain, but also there's a deeper part of the brain that it can affect. So
Called what?
the hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is the
Okay.
little thing that looks like the thing in the back of your tongue.
Yes. What is it?
We've talked about
Yes.
this before. It kind of reads what's going on in the bloodstream, right?
Okay.
And when that area is regressed or it's
Affected.
affected, that area, and there's more of this that's leptin. I think I said lectin before. Leptin, right, is an eating hormone. When
Okay.
that is prevalent in the bloodstream, the brain says
What
we're
does that have to do
hungry.
with the pituitary gland?
The pituitary gland is sensing this. It's kind of
Okay.
like the pituitary gland is almost like, this is going to not be totally
Leptin?
related. It's almost, leptin, I
I've
believe
never
it
even
is.
heard of leptin.
Yeah, it's a hunger hormone.
Oh.
Look it up. Then you can tell them about it from your perspective.
Leptin hormone.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think I said lectin before. I really
I was just gonna
apologize
say
about
that's what
that.
I was like, leptin. Leptin
is what I meant.
Interesting.
And that's not the full part of it. Let's not focus on the leptin.
Yeah.
That's a result of some of this.
Well, I was gonna say I also saw like it promotes the release of ghrelin, GHRELIN, which is a hormone that stimulates hunger and makes food taste more appealing. And the hypothalamus activation.
I think that ghrelin is a precursor to leptin, or is leptin a precursor to ghrelin? One of the two. They're related.
Okay. That makes. I know when you were saying leptin, I was like, I've lectin,
but leptin is what I meant.
Okay.
And I didn't even see it. I just heard myself say it. And I'm like, okay, that's wrong.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that is, it's funny too. Like, it also, I'd heard that sweeter foods, like, especially when it comes to sweet tasting foods, it really enhances for some reason. Like, there's something
carbohydrates
about,
for sure.
Yeah, any sort of carb.
I am way more likely. Like,
increases the
I
desire
love my grease and fat, but if I partake, absolutely, like a sandwich, like bread, that sort of thing,
yeah,
way more likely to be
more
involved in that.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, it has to do with that same chemical pathway in the brain. That's 100% what it is. To make a very simple statement way more complicated.
So then, I feel like, does that have to do with why it might make you sleepy?
I wasn't asked to look that up.
Yeah, I know, but I was just thinking, I wonder if it just does have something to do with it. Let's just see. I mean, it's kind of just saying the same kind of thing. It like
more
activates
so
your
slows
CB1.
down.
Yeah, the
brain.
activation of the release promotes drowsiness.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Just some kind of fascinating things. And it does, of course, it's because of like the medical use when it started out. Of course, that was, not like can cure your illnesses, but the fact that it come out as like a medical thing is always so interesting. How the way the times have turned.
Do you remember watching? Do you ever see the movie Patch Adams with Robin Williams?
No.
I still cry if I watch that movie. Watch Patch Adams.
What is Patch Adams?
Patch Adams was a true story about, and Robin Williams portrayed the character of someone who had gone through their own psychological challenges and then became a medical doctor and tried to, within the medical industry, we should watch. Patch Adams is your weird watch for the week.
How old is that movie?
25 years, 30 years.
Weird.
Maybe. It's so good. We should watch it tonight. Oh, I might cry.
I know we were talking about, that was the other question too, was like the best 420 movies. What's your favorite one? Also, I meant to say Pineapple Express is another.
That's a third. But let's stay on Patch Adams. So Patch Adams, he becomes the story is of someone who had psychological problems, becomes a medical doctor. Nothing to do with weed. I'm just bringing up Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it, and he was fantastic. They brought up how getting patients to eat is one of the most important things to do. Whether if you have had the challenge or the horrible, and our nurses out there have been there, if someone's in hospice or depressed, maybe they don't have family and they end up in a hospital, just getting someone to eat is one of the most important things.
Totally.
A doctor in the 50s, 60s got arrested, which is the worst. This is just how horrible things can be. He got arrested for prescribing food for a family because he's like, they're just undernourished. They just need food.
Right.
And the insurance company and other people wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah.
That's god awful horrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If that's what a doctor says that people need, get it to them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Obviously, and it is for my sleep. Like, it's like one of the best things that's ever happened for my sleep, because I used to be basically like an insomniac, not an insomnia. In high school, growing up, middle school, high school, I would sleep. Like there were some nights like I could maybe sleep like 2 hours a night.
Should we tie all this together? Because I feel like we went on a line of tangents there.
We did.
So we talked about weed. Then we talked about sleeping. I brought up Patch Adams because I think it's a great watch, and it has to do with people eating.
I know this
without
is
weed, but that
episode.
So we're just gonna tie everything together real quick.
Yeah. No, that was just I was just, aligned with all the facts of things that it can do.
Yeah.
That's because people are always like, what, like, why do you love it? If someone has never tried it before, which I always am curious if there are people like, not that I'm peer pressuring people. I am curious.
You're totally peer pressuring people.
No, I'm not. I'm not, because some people really also hate it, and that's totally fine too. That's it's just like whatever. I don't know. It's just, I think, how your brain responds to things.
Don't yuck someone's yum.
Exactly. All right. I think that wraps up all of the fun facts in Science Corner of our 420. But of course, it's not over.
What are the three?
I just wasn't sure if there's anything else you wanted to see that you found in your research.
How many elements on the elemental table do you think there are in THC?
100?
Guess again.
180.
Do you want me to tell you higher or lower?
So I'm going to say lower. 50.
Lower.
50.
So I'm going to go lower.
2?
Higher.
8?
Lower.
Can you just say the freaking number?
There's 3.
Oh.
Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That's it. There's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen in THC.
Oh.
And
but I felt like I was thinking like compounds, like how many different.
This is why we were going to get into what a carbon ring means and why it's important to this, but I wasn't allowed to go there.
No, I think it's
because we did get into the chemical receptors. Well, we were talking chemical receptors and how those work.
What does that have? What does that add to the conversation? Just talking about the rings.
Here's my question: what doesn't it add to the conversation?
Okay, cool. Carbon rings. Love to hear it. Great. Love that.
It's actually the connecting things to the carbon rings that bind to the neuroreceptors. But I guess we're not getting into that. That's fine.
Nah. All right. Obviously, this episode's far from over because we have, yeah, that's right. It's time for.
You didn't even bring up that nitrogen isn't involved, and nitrogen is the most abundant compound on the earth.
Okay. That's great, James. Thank you so much.
Oh, were you doing something?
Secret. Yeah, that's right. It's time for secrets. This is where you guys call in. Tell us something weird about you, about your family, about, an experience you've had. We're always throwing out random weird, prompts for you. But if you want to call in, you can call in too.
SpeakPipe!
That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Again, speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Always anonymous. You can leave up to, I think it's 2 minutes now, but, keep it short, keep it concise, unless it's worth it. If it's really worth it, like some of, when I stumble upon once in a blue moon, fine. But we have some good ones today. I also found a marijuana related secret, of course, had to throw one of those in, but also found some really just solid, good, weird ones for us. Are you ready for probably one of the weirdest secrets that we've ever had?
I'm prepared.
Here we go.
Hey, Sam and James. I never thought I'd have anything to call in about, but the secret this week about the guy who filled his bladder with wine to pee into people's drinks at parties reminded me of this. So, this past Christmas, I was at my boyfriend's family's house, and his cousin is an ER nurse at a local hospital. And she told us about how they had a patient who would keep coming in with extremely swollen balls, and they didn't understand why. Finally, the doctors convinced him to tell them what was going on, to figure out how to treat him. And he let them know that he was blending up rodents like squirrels and injecting that mixture into his balls. I do not know why he was doing this, but apparently his mom, of course, was there and did not speak English, so they had to have a translator describe what was going on to her. And when she was told this information, she nearly fainted, and the first thing she exclaimed was, "Oh my God, which blender was he using?"
I'm gonna throw up.
Can I just
Yes.
compliment her on something? I don't know if this is. She has this sweet, adorable voice.
She does. I did not think that was going to come out of your mouth.
That sweet, that adorable voice that she has just makes this story so much better.
I'm so concerned.
Sorry, sometimes the way that a story is told and you couldn't have predicted
that much better.
And it's like she's talking about a guy chopping up rodents.
And
injecting him into his balls.
I have so many questions.
I got one simple answer.
What?
It's got to have something to do with he read something about testosterone.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know why.
That's so disturbing.
Yeah, it's beyond disturbing.
It just.
Hopefully, it's roadkill like animals that were already dead.
I'm hoping. I fear for this man. Also, the fact that the mom was like, "What blender is he using?" is hilarious, but it's so fucked up.
That also makes it super funny.
That is really spooky stuff. God bless this man. Honestly, I hope he's still alive, depending on how long ago that was. I mean, that can't be good. That can't be good for your rates for testicular cancer.
The balls are swollen. Was it infection?
Yeah.
No. Or was it just because there's extra blood there? There's a difference.
Yeah, the diseases and
if it's an infection from that,
it's too much. It's too much.
That was amazing.
That was disturbing and amazing, because that's got to be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard of someone doing. And we have a lot of nurses have called in with things people stick up their butts, and the bladder thing like that. I've actually I feel like I've heard of people doing shit like that. People weird stuff with tampons, but that is injecting rodents that have been blended is so special, very special. Okay, so this is a good one. Goes along with the theme of today's episode. It's a little bit longer, but I think it is worth it. Here we go.
Hey weirdos, Sam James. I've got a little silly secret for you. I've never admitted this, but I come from a family of potheads, me and all my siblings, and we were not stealth about it, so we were always getting caught. My mom and dad would find our paraphernalia, our drugs, what have you. And instead of a normal adult reaction, like throwing it out, my mom would always hide it. Like, I'm not sure what the plan was, but she would hide it. And I knew this about her. So one night, my mom and my brother pissed me off so bad. And recently our bong had gone missing. So I was like, I'm going to find that bong and I'm going to destroy it. Because if I can't have it, nobody can, you know? I don't know what the thought process was, but I went hunting around. I found the bong in a box in her closet. Lord knows it was probably stanking up her closet, which is maybe why she knew it was missing. But I took it to the back of my backyard where there's like trees and overgrown brush, and I threw it against a tree. And I never told anyone, but everybody always assumed that I did it anyway. I guess it's just my personality. But I never admitted it until now. But on a side note, in the same realm, one weekend, my best pothead friend was coming to visit. And this was before weed was legal, so it was hard to get. And my weed went missing, and I was furious. But I knew my mom probably hid it. So I went hunting around for it. I don't know why her little hiding spots aren't very good. But this one I appreciated, because where did she hide my pot? In the crock pot. I texted her and I said, hey, you know any good crock pot recipes? And it was all good from there, because me and my friend, we smoked up. We had a good time. And full circle, both my parents have weed pens now. Gotta love it.
You love a good, I'm guessing she was probably in high school.
She opened a whole new thing that we need to discuss to the weirdlings.
What?
Secrets are one thing, but first-time confessions. She said she never admitted that confession. She told anyone.
Right.
What is something that you feel comfortable
about breaking
now?
The family bong.
What is something you feel? She broke the family bong.
Yeah.
What do you feel comfortable now confessing or admitting that you hadn't done before?
It does also, like, when you think about it, like how you got weed and like the thoughts around weed when we were like in high school or growing up versus now is so crazy, because it was like, first of all, it was so sketchy to get it. Like, we were doing sketchy things, meeting sketchy people. And it was always like, yeah, you had to. It was like an illegal drug. I mean, technically, like some places, I guess it still is. And that is always weird too when you like go to Europe or go to some of these other countries where it is very restricted.
Not be legal, yeah.
It is so fun to like think about that, because it's so easy to get now. You can buy different flavors, pens, like, and how, like, it wasn't that long ago. And I mean, it's also too even sadder to think about people who are like still in jail for like weed related things. That is always crazy to me.
I don't even want to get into that. I can go forever. That needs to stop. Yeah. That needs to be like, if you are in jail for something that's since become legal, right, you should not only be let out, give them something back. Help them start their life again.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. If a mistake is made by lawmakers, the lawmakers that also put people away should have to help people out.
Yeah. Agreed.
Can I bring something into the conversation?
Yeah, please bring something.
Our caller, you're amazing. And please don't be mad at me for saying this, but you sound so smart. I think there's only one reason why your parents were hiding your weed and not throwing it away. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And she's like, now they have weed pens. Yeah. No. They've been doing this way before you were born.
Yeah.
They know the game.
Did you ever
you are their dealer? Like, basically.
Did you have a family, like a friend's family that like they were like the stoners and like you would go to their house to smoke weed at their place?
No. You know me, I'm not as into it as much. That's not my drug of choice.
Right.
I like
he
my
likes crack
alcohol
better.
Yeah. I like having some drinks. I love having drinks. Weirdlings.
Whiskey
Weirdlings that you've been out there with me. I love a beer, a wine, a whiskey.
Yeah.
That's I like
alcohol.
weed sometimes. Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
Haven't even partaken today. But
Peabody has had many drinks.
I've had two big whiskeys, that's for sure.
And a shot of tequila.
And a shot of tequila, true. We did do a shot. So, but I mean, I do like it. But yes, there are people that you always knew who did it and where to get it.
Well, that we had this friend. Her name was Sophie. Her parents were the biggest hippies.
Yeah.
And it was so wild that, again, this is 2000s, where it was so illegal and looked down upon,
Yeah. Oh,
and
so bad.
That her parents would come and smoke with us, or let us smoke in her backyard.
Yeah.
It was oh my God, this is so crazy.
And not that I've actively tried to smoke with them or care. They're great. I love them to death. But I have an aunt and uncle that absolutely were hippies like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they loved. And they still do. And their kids, some of their kids love it. And that's okay. Right. And in college.
And again, especially for family, there are families that share beers together. And
I wasn't into it much in college. A little after college, I tried. But at the time, I was a bartender. You could just get it anywhere. It was so easy.
Yeah.
It was when you're bartending in college, knowing people that sold weed.
I don't know if I should tell the story of when I had to find my first plug in Stamford. I went on Craigslist. I literally, when we moved to Stamford, I was like, oh my God, I don't really know anyone who smokes here. And I was I had asked friends, I couldn't find it anywhere. And this was before it was legal. And I went on Craigslist and I found these people. And I was like, James, will you come with me? We met them at a parking lot.
Oh my God, that's right. I remember, absolutely
at a
remember
liquor
that.
store.
Yeah.
And I was like, we could be getting arrested. We could I don't even know these people.
Oh my God.
They showed up, they were so nice. They had dogs in their car and they're like, what's up?
We were at Clavelli at the time. Oh my God. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. They were so sweet.
Yeah. And they were so nice. They ended up being they would come, they were from the Bronx.
Yep.
And they would drive up every couple weeks and I would meet up with them. Oh my God, that good times. That was so sketchy. I was I feel like I'm such an idiot. This could go so badly, but it was fine. It worked out great.
Too funny.
Too funny. Okay. This is another funny secret. Another one. We had thrown out some weird occupations, and this goes along with that theme. Here we go.
Hi, Sam and James. This is the teacher from Pittsburgh. I'm listening to your pod this week and the secrets about nursing homes. My Nana was in a nursing home, and but when my dad would go to see her, my dad would go and see her every night. And there was a couple, they both had Alzheimer's, and the guy would stand in the hallway, trying to be all cool, leaning on the door frame, hand on his hip, hand in his pocket, smirk on his face. And when his girlfriend would come, this other woman in the nursing home, they would make out and feel each other up in the hallway. People walking past, everything. And, they were both married. They both had families that would come and visit them. But they both had Alzheimer's and were just really into each other and couldn't even wait to get into the bedroom. They would just go at it right there in the hallway.
See, that gives me hope for the future.
I'm dying.
It's just nice to know that when you're old, you still got it.
I thought of another great stoner movie.
What?
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, well, yeah. That's a classic.
And just picturing the guy that she's describing as being, that's how Matthew McConaughey got famous.
Yeah.
I like girls from high school. because I keep getting older and they stay the same age. These days, that's the most canceled line ever.
Seriously.
But it's still a famous movie line.
Don't clip that.
Right? Hey, that's also how your hunk from Yellowstone got famous.
Who? Which one?
The guy from Yellowstone.
What, Dazed and Confused?
Yeah. He was in Dazed and Confused.
What's his...
He plays one of the senior football players, but he's a redhead. Nobody recognizes him.
Huh. Interesting.
What's his...
Harrison Ford?
No, from Yellowstone.
I keep thinking, I'm like so on 1923 right
now. I know
now.
from...
That's
why
like all
am
I've
I
been
blanking
thinking
on
about.
it? I shouldn't even write it.
Whatever. The head guy in Yellowstone. We know what we're thinking
know. So it's... What's her name?
Well, now I have to look it up because of people...
Well, wait. Her name is Beth and... I'm trying to prompt it here. Beth and...
Trying to prompt it?
Yeah. Why can't I think of his name? Normally, if you say one side of it, you'll think of the other one.
I don't know. I can't.
I mean, if I say C-3PO, everyone else is going to say R2-D2.
Are they? Are they though?
They
Kevin
should.
Costner. Oh my God! Why
no, not Kevin Costner.
Who? Luke Grimes?
Yeah. No, not Luke Grimes either.
Who are you talking about?
He plays the tough guy. He's Beth's husband.
Oh, Cole Hauser.
Yeah, Cole. Jesus, why couldn't I think of it? He's also in a great hockey movie. But Cole Hauser got famous in Dazed and Confused.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That took way too long for us to find that out, too.
I hope everyone, I hope everyone stuck with us on this episode because there were a lot of things. We went all over the place. But Cole Hauser, yeah, he was in Dazed and Confused. That's what made him, that was one of his first big movies. That is too funny. You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize he was the same guy.
Yep. That's what I picture is this old guy, old, probably lost a lot of weight, very slender, just leaning up against a hallway, kind of like if you were in a college dorm,
living his
and
best
he's
life.
just waiting. Yeah.
As they should.
I love that.
That's what, again,
You know why I pick up...
Still living a good life.
You know why I keep picking up girls in retirement homes? Because same line.
Because why? Because why?
They keep getting older and I stay the same age.
It's beautiful. Put it on a t-shirt, as you would say. Well, if you want to call us...
Oh, that's absolutely on a t-shirt already.
If you want to call and leave us a weird voicemail, something weird... What have you done weird when you're really stoned or, under the influence of something? Or, again, we love a weird job. Or,
confession.
What about, too, with Easter? I know we also, I love a holiday. I love weird facts about Easter. We've definitely done that before. But something weird that happened on Easter today. Did you go for a walk, get too stoned, and,
this technically is probably closer to Jesus' actual birthday than Christmas is.
Yeah. Exactly. You got it. If you want to call in and leave us a weird secret, you can call in to
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weirdandproudpod. Again, speakpipe.com/weirdandproudpod. Make sure you go get tickets for the shows at samantharamsell.com/events. We can't wait to see y'all soon. Y'all's out there. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Did you hate it?
We didn't
Or did you love it?
Should we have talked more about how Easter is more related to the lunar cycles than an actual date?
Yeah. James, tell them about it.
Are there other things that we can make people hate us more for?
Oh my God. Listen, James. Listen, the sun is shining. The light is at the end of the tunnel. We can see the light. Everything's looking up from here. Kind of.
And if you are celebrating 420, make sure to listen to plenty of Snoop Dogg.
Please. That's all we're asking.
It's Snoop. He's the best.
All right. We love you guys so much. James, is there anything else?
Love you, Weirdlings.
We love you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Toodaloos.